Hello to you all. Hello from Glastonbury. And as always, welcome. And I'm just going to wait for people to join. I'll just check that we are live while I'm waiting. Okay. I can see we're live. And we may have freezing or stopping with the video live. The reason being is I don't have broadband or Wi-Fi in the caravan. I'm reliant literally on my phone signal, which is on 2 bars, but that can mean that it sticks. So please bear with, and I hope we can get through this without it cutting off. Okay, so I'll just wait a few more moments for some people to join. And as I say, apologies if the video freezes or it cuts off. But if it does freeze, you can always go back to it because usually the recording is fine. So yes, I'm just waffling as always. Welcome to you all. And we'll get started in just a few seconds. I just want to give others an opportunity to come in. Wherever you are in the world, hello. Hello to you and you and you and you and you. God bless you all for getting through quite a difficult time, the last couple of months, which I will go into. But for now, I'm just waffling, and we'll just wait, I think, a few more seconds, and then we'll get started. But thank you all for joining, wherever you are in the world. I just send you so much love and compassion and laughter and tears and all of it, just great understanding, great compassion, and my heart literally is just filled with love for where we all are, where we've come, what we've come through in the last couple of months. And I just celebrate you all. Okay, so we're over 200 now, so we will get cracking. I'm going to do this live for the benefit of people that perhaps haven't followed me, say prior to 2 years ago, because I want to explain again the analogy I gave of the train. And I'm sure lots of you will remember the train analogy. It was actually shown to me as a train journey that we're all on. And so I did a live a couple of years ago about the train, and subsequent posts which were also about the train. Well, guess what? It's come again. I've been shown again the train journey, and I need to explain what that actually means for people that perhaps didn't see those videos or read those posts a couple of years ago. If you are one of those people, excuse me, you don't need to go looking for the videos, although they're here on Facebook and YouTube. You don't need to go back to them, because what was happening on that train journey then has happened, and we are here now, and this is what matters now, is the now moment. So you're not missing anything by just understanding the train analogy that I was given in terms of our collective journeying and awakening and ascension into a higher dimensional perception which then denotes a higher dimensional reality, and past there as well. So I'm going to explain the train. I've got some drawings to show everybody, and this is just really for newcomers, or a recap. Let's see if that's pretty good. And I will post these pictures in the comments after the live. Okay, these two pictures that I'm going to show you. So you can see 2012. We were already on the train prior to 2012. I think we've always been on it. But from 2012, that train journey in earnest kicked in, and you can see there's lots of different railway carriages, and there are people awakened and unawakened on the train. In terms of the railway carriages, what I do know is that people do swap carriages. So it might be that you're in one carriage with a certain amount of people, and then energetically you shift and go into a different carriage. It doesn't matter which carriage you're in at all, okay, at all. What matters is you're on the train and you're going your way. That's all that matters. And generally speaking, the people in your carriage are the people that you resonate with. But as I say, it's chop and change energetically. This is a very esoteric way of looking at the ascension, but it's the way I've been shown. So people can swap carriages during their journey, okay? You'll notice some black dots, and they are stations that we stop at. I'm laughing at these stations now, not from a laughing at, but because of the design of it all. It's so perfect that you can sort of giggle in a light-hearted way. But we stop at these stations, and I mentioned one of them a couple of years ago, which was a massive stop. And you can see that I've highlighted one that says the 31st of January to the 31st of March, which I will talk about. And then you can see the train will carry on and carry on until at some point, timeline unknown by myself, we do step into a higher state of consciousness permanently. So not temporary like now, but permanently. And that will be a baseline of 5D. That's the baseline entry point. But there will be people in there that also experience 7D and most likely more than 7D. And where does that train journey go then? Well, it just carries on and carries on because it's infinite. Okay, so that's the train analogy. For the benefit of newcomers and a recap, I want to go back to the 31st of January or thereabouts, when I received data and shared it in a video and written form about this time period we were just going to go in on the 31st of January. And it would be seen as sort of dark in the sense of not knowing, in the sense of it being a bit like a black hole. I mentioned the black hole, and then I did a live to explain what the black hole meant. And what it really was like was going into a dark cave. And I am trying to speak louder for the benefit of people that can't hear well. So sorry if I sound like I'm shouting, but to me I do sound like I'm shouting. But it's like going into this cave that is where you can't see in front of you because it's dark. Not dark in a bad way, but just that you cannot see the steps in front of you. And if you recall, that's what I spoke about on the 31st of January. It would be a period of utter not knowing, and I guided to just take one simple step at a time. and to watch out for the clues or the breadcrumbs that would be given to you all during that passageway, which was, as I say, like going into a dark cave where you can't see the future, you can't see what's coming, you don't know really what steps to take. Your guidance is you're getting sort of energetic, esoteric knowledge, but it's not helping you in that moment where things are presenting to you and you're having to make choices and you don't know what to do. And that's what that period was all about. Well, now had to say that in order to go back to the train, which I was shown on the early hours of the morning of the 1st of April, so just 2 days ago, and I was shown that period because it's over. That period is done. Okay, that huge difficult time is done, and people will experience it as done, or they'll experience it as coming to an end. So now I'm going to show you another drawing which may look complicated, but don't worry, because I'm going to talk you through it all. It's not a particularly good drawing, but it is what it is. It is what it is, I'm afraid. Okay, so the next drawing of the train ride. Okay, let's get my fingers out of the way. And I'll just give you a moment to absorb that. There we go. So, if you imagine or just understand that the train ride is depicted from the 31st of January, which I've just spoken about, to the 31st of March. Now, what I was showing 2 days ago was that period. Most of us, pretty much all of us, but I don't want to say that. I want to say most of us, myself included, got off the train. So that period of 2 months, we actually all got off the train. And what this depicts, if you like, what it's trying to show you is lots of different mini journeys of lots of different people. Lots of people going down lots of different branches, having their own tailor-made experience from end of January to end of March. And in that time, that very difficult time, we went into not knowing. We felt lost. There was a lot of perhaps self-doubt, and I'm mentioning these adjectives, these descriptions, in case some of them apply to you, but perhaps they don't, or perhaps one does and the rest don't. But generally speaking, we were having to make choices, and we literally didn't know what to do. A lot of confusion, a huge amount of self-doubt. You may have even been questioning your awakening, whether the path was true, whether this ascension was real. All of that could have occurred. Maybe it didn't to you, maybe it did to others. And literally, quite literally, in that time period, we were walking in what you could describe as blindness. You see, we're not fully eyes open, even now. We have our eyes open to a degree, but our eyes aren't fully open yet. But that period, it was like a lack of sight, a lack of knowing. And so you can see I've purposely put lots and lots of people on their own little branch or route, if you like, because you had to experience that on your own. It was your disharmony that came up, your worry, your fears, your own fears, not another person's. And so we quite literally, I just want to put this down for a sec, it's making my arm ache. We quite literally took our own individual journey that was tailor-made and unique to me, tailor-made and unique to you and you and you and you and you. Now what this was, which I understood only 2 days ago, really. Well, no, I say that. I knew when I was in it myself, it was like a test. I don't mean that in a 3D way of test. I just mean it was designed by your higher self, your consciousness, your higher consciousness. It was designed for you to walk through one day at a time, so that you, even in difficulty, just took one step and then another step. Not knowing, not having that acute knowledge that you were doing the right thing. And it was kind of like a test for us to make the highest choice for ourselves, for our individual self. So that's why it was so individual. You could talk to other people in that period, but they wouldn't have been able to help you. You had to make your own choices, decisions. You had to come out of your own despair, your own emotional, perhaps if it's emotional, you had to come out of that emotional turmoil yourself. And so the whole of that period was designed by the higher self, the higher consciousness, not as a test, but as a way of getting you to make the highest choices for you as an individual, not for somebody else or your family, but for yourself. And so even though it was hard, it's ended up as a huge period of self-empowerment, because you got through it. Now, during that period as well, there could have been times when choices were made or things were said or thoughts, you had thoughts which weren't of the highest vibration, because literally we were plunged into that dark space of not knowing and quite a lot of worry, despair, anxiety. So it could have been in that period that, you know, some of the things we did weren't necessarily the highest choice, but we quickly learnt from that. And then within days or whatever, as those weeks progressed, we then turned ourselves around and saw and went within and made the highest choice for that moment, and then the highest choice again, and then again, and then again. So it was like by being down there and struggling, we then realized where we were and struggling and decided to take a U-turn and make the highest choice again and again and again. So it's a huge period of self-empowerment that was actually part of your design. It was part of my design from the higher self. I have got some notes here, so I'm just checking that I've said everything for that period of 31st of March to the 31st of January to 31st of March. Okay, so now we come to the exciting part. With that, I just kicked my water over because I got too excited. Okay, so back to the drawing. There we go. So this is back to front for me. So we're back over here, like here. The 1st of April, we actually changed timelines, literally. And you know, some of you might get signs before a timeline change. I do. I get a very odd one, but it's a practical sign. And when it happens more than once, I know that a timeline change is imminent. And I mentioned this to a friend, and blow me, the next day we literally had a timeline change on the 1st of April. Now, what that means for all these people that got off the train, which is most of us, most people in the world got off the train, including people that are unawakened, okay, that don't know about this, about the awakening and the ascension. But literally on the 1st of April, there was a timeline change 2 days ago, and everybody is making their way back to the train. Everybody that got off on that station is now individually making their own journey back on the train. So you may have felt in the last couple of days more focused on your esoteric energetic path that we call ascension. You may have felt a greater clarity, still not knowing. There's still that degree of blindness because we're still not fully awake. But it's a timeline change, and so that how it's happening, this is another part that I was shown, is it's happening by frequency, by vibration. There are vibrations that kicked in on the 1st of April. Now, if you think of vibrations, it's also sound. So vibrations carry sound. So there is a sound in the universe, a vibration in the universe that we have received, and it's that vibration that's magnetically taking each individual back to the train itself. The train itself isn't leaving the station right now. Okay, it isn't leaving the station right now. So there's going to be a period from the 1st of April, the timeline change, to, I don't know, actually, I really don't know, but if I had to guess, I would say mid-May or late May, perhaps the mid-May to the 3rd week of May, perhaps. The train is going to stay there in that station, and the reason it's staying is it's waiting for everybody to make their way back. That's why. So some people got the call on the 1st of April, and they're making their way back, and they're on the train right now. It's the 3rd of April today. But other people, you have to realize everybody does this individually, and so other people will probably hear that call, that vibration, perhaps in a week's time, or 2 weeks' time, or 3 weeks' time. So they may still be sort of, you know, in difficulty still with a lot of stuff going on in their life that has got to them, and so they will take their time in sort of hearing that vibration that we've received, that will then take them, say, from here back to the train, and back they go onto the train. So we're literally, all of us, getting back on. Some of us are on it sooner than later, but the train's going nowhere until everybody's back on board. Okay, that's the good news. It's brilliant. I love the way this works. Okay, so once you're feeling that vibration, so it will feel that your path is more focused. You have a renewed energy, you have a renewed strength. You still don't know what the future holds. You still are in a degree of blindness, because we all are. You don't know what the future holds. You don't know what's coming, but you have a clarity within your being, and it's an energetic state. It's a state of consciousness that has just got you more focused on your path rather than the objective world, the illusionary 3D world, and all that's going on there, or even the 4D world and all that's going on there. So that journey back to the train is you really aligning once more to your path. Excuse me a sec. And once on the train, you'll be receiving more and more and more data, more esoteric experiences, more dream time, more clarity, more signs on Mother Earth. However which way you receive, once on the train itself, even though it's not moving, your own way of receiving messages or information is just going to keep going like that, because you're back on the train. Okay, so where's the next stop? And this excites me as well, is the train will leave the station. Sorry, I mean, I didn't ask for this train analogy, but it's the way my consciousness tells me. So, you know, it is me. Well, I suppose I did ask for it in that case. But anyway, the train is going to leave that station when everybody's back on board in about 6-7 weeks' time, 5 to 7 weeks' time, roughly speaking. I don't know. And it is going to then be headed to the next stop. And the next stop is here. There we are, get it in there. It's a 3D station stop. And this fills my heart. This is what I was shown 2 days ago. So we are going to stop on the train. We're going up, 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 expanding more, more, more as we go. But the very next stop on the journey, on this esoteric journey, is to stop at a station to pick up a shed load of unawakened people. These are going to be people that are deeply submerged in the what we label 3D reality. Now, if you remember a couple of years ago when I gave this train analogy, and in lots and lots of posts I've done over the years, I have always said that unawakened, it really is to have compassion for people that are unawakened, because at soul level, many unawakened chose to wait till the last minute, excuse me, to awaken. They wanted to leave it till the 11th hour and have a more massive surprise. I've been shown many times for many years people that I know that are unawakened still on that train. Okay, so in other words, some people that are unawakened are already on the train and they just don't know it. There'll be people that are predominantly in their hearts, that predominantly want well for everybody, that wish everybody well, that wish everybody fairness, that come from love and kindness, but they're unawakened. They are already and have been already on this train, and I've been shown this repeatedly over the years in different ways. But the thing about this stop we're making there, the 3D stop, is there we'll be picking up people who it's difficult to describe it, because yeah, it's very difficult for me to describe, but let's just say that the higher you go in energetic frequency, at first higher frequencies seem very, very subtle. The more higher frequency you embody, the more you become it, and it becomes the louder voice. And when that higher dimensional frequency becomes you and becomes your way of being, and it's always changing and changing, the third dimensional reality can seem quite crude. That's CRUED, if you don't hear my accent very well. It can become quite coarse. And so that train stop that we're going to stop at, that station, will be to pick up a large amount of people that are still unawakened, but are very, very, very much into the 3D reality and the 3D way of interpreting things, and they're very adamant about that 3D reality, and most likely think we're the crazy ones. So yeah, they're kind of like a louder bunch of people, but a massive amount of people, and that's the best way I can describe it. So I'm just thrilled. I'm so happy, because you know, it is about everybody. It's all inclusive, and so it's kind of like a station that we're really waiting to stop at as well, because it will mean an even bigger amount of people are going to awaken their way and be awakened, and then they will be the seeker on their path, and on board that train. And so, you know, it's just amazing. It's just fantastic the way this is so inclusive and so designed for everybody. And that's why I always have faith in everybody, because I know that everybody at soul level is on their path, you know, whether they transition and leave us, they're still in a different energetic space, supporting us and willing us on, and knowing exactly what we're doing here on earth, even if they didn't really know when they were with us in physicality. And then, you know, you've got friends and family who are unawakened, and perhaps think you're crazy, or you know, question you question, you know, your reality, and they will open up, and it will just be like a flower that blossoms and blossoms. And these people that awake, you know, nearer the 11th hour, they don't need to go down the journey we did, just like I didn't need to go down the journey somebody went down that perhaps has been awake 50 years or 40 or 30 or 20 years even. They're just going to know. They're going to know so much more, but in a different way to us. But they'll get it. They'll get it completely. So it's very, very exciting. When that station, when do we stop? Everybody's probably going to wonder when do we stop at that station is I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. But it is the next stop. How they awaken, again, at this point, I don't know. I just know that that difficult period of darkness, of not knowing what steps to take, being quite in despair, is over. And if it doesn't feel over for you, it will in the next few weeks. everyone that experienced it from their higher self. It was like a test so that you made the highest choice. Your higher self is always wanting you to make the highest choice. And this is really how we ascend. How do we take these steps forward? How do each and every one of us take steps forward? And how come maybe we don't take steps forward? And it's all down to choice. It's down to making in each moment the highest choice. And this is what we're learning, so that eventually it's natural to us. And that highest choice is all inclusive. And that highest choice is love. It's always a heart-based choice. Even if it's a hard choice to make, the choice itself will come from love, and it will come from unity. It will be all inclusive. It won't leave somebody out. And it won't be looking after number one, meaning the personality individual either. It won't be a selfish choice. It may be a choice for you, but it will be the highest choice rather than coming from the personality mind, which I won't go into because otherwise I'd be here all day about the personality. But obviously, you know, I've written about the personality and explained that, you know, people are step by step realizing that we're not the personality. We actually are far more than human. And so, you know, even if you're not experiencing that, you're going to, and it's funny because it's like almost being sort of two people sometimes. It's like you watch your personality kick in, and then there's this other part of you that goes, oh, that's the personality. No, we're not doing that. That's the personality. And it gets quite funny watching yourself going, when do you go into personality mode, which you're coming out of, and then of course you see people outside of you in personality mode, and you can witness that, and that's when it gets really funny because you can't say anything. You know, you can't say, well, you can't say that, you know, you're only upset because you're in your personality. You can't say that. They might smack you if you say that. You've literally just got to hold compassion for the fact that they're still running that personality mind, and that they will come out of it, and just trust their path. But we're coming away from the personality, coming into the higher consciousness, so that every choice eventually it will be that every choice and every thought we have eventually will come from the higher consciousness that will be operating the body. Okay, so I've explained the timeline shift that we've had. We're in a new timeline. I now want to just lastly, it's not connected to what I just said, and yet everything is connected, and this is connected because, you know, you have to think about the future timeline when I'm with what I'm about to say. So it's a bit of a different subject. Choice is, I want to just explain a little bit about the unified grid, because it may be relevant to you, or it may be relevant to some of you watching in your weeks ahead, and so I'm just sharing this information in case it helps you, in case you have sight of this or you have experiences of it. Okay. So how can I start? In 2014, I think it was, or 15, can't remember, I was given a vision, and it played out like in front of my eyes in an animation, and there was a lot. It was like a story, an animated storyline, But the very first thing I was shown was the unified grid. And it's a hexagonal. I'm just going to show you a little tiny drawing of it. It's a hexagonal formation shape, okay? And even though I only drew it there, the way I was shown it in front of me, I was just taken out of this reality, and I was just watching with my eyes planet Earth, and it was like covered with this golden hexagonal shape tapestry of light that I call the unified field. Now, I call it a tapestry because it went from the planet Earth throughout the whole of the solar system. So it went out from the planet Earth, through the solar system, through the universe, and everything, as far as I could see in that animation, was covered with this golden grid made of light that has those hexagonal shapes that link everything together. That was in 2014 or 15. Okay, I am trying to come to a point, but I'm just giving you the information in case you don't know what the unified grid is. Okay. In 2018, which this is a pinned post on my Facebook wall. You're probably familiar with that now because it's the pinned post. And so that same hexagonal grid, you can see it better there. It just flows through everything, and there you can see it as a flat drawing, okay? But if that was the drawing that I've just done, you have to understand that the hexagonal grid goes this way, it comes this way, it goes this way, it goes this way, it goes this way, and it goes this way. So it's not 2D, it's not flat, it's 3D, if you like, in terms of it has form and structure to it, and it's light, it's golden light, and it links everything to everything, and it spans, as far as I know, many dimensional planes of existence, many lighted design planes. Excuse me a sec. So to the physical eye, if you imagine that the black is solid reality, then the white, it literally, to the physical eye, this unified grid goes through everything. So to the physical eye, that's kind of what it looks like. But it goes through everything. It's seen as white light, slightly blurred at the edges, but it's not white light, golden light. And I was shown that with these eyes in 2018. Which brings me to the 27th of March, which was just over a week ago, when my consciousness, so it's me, it's like data unpackages within me, okay? So it's not like I hear a voice and it's speaking to me. It's that data unpackages within me, these light packages, and then suddenly you just know, and that's the higher consciousness. It's just one form of knowing. Is to focus now not on the energetic, not on one particular energetic pattern, and not to focus on one particular wave. So with the solar waves that are coming in, I know not to focus in, not to zoom in on one wave and focus in on what the pattern is and the formation of that wave is. My guidance for myself is to zoom out and look at the lighted design that actually allows that detailed waveform to exist, if that makes sense. And I'm sorry if this sounds confusing, but it's really difficult to explain out loud. So in other words, to pan out of the detail of a vibrational wave or a vibrational pattern, and to actually see the greater pattern that allows for those waveforms and vibrational patterns to exist in the first place. So the light laws, in other words. And the reason, so that was just over a week ago. And then on the 1st, and this takes us back to the timeline change, the 1st of April and the 2nd of April, literally within the space of 48 hours, I was shown the hexagonal grid 4 times. So in a 2-day period, I'm being shown the unified grid 4 times, which for me is a lot, you know, it's huge. I'm being shown it at the end of each dream. So it could be just a normal dream, not a learning dream. Okay, learning dreams are different. They have a lot of detail, a lot of information, and that's like higher self information. But just typical dreams, at the end of each dream, this unified grid shows up as if like the end sequence is the unified grid. So I'm knowing that the reason I'm getting told to focus my energy and my energy work to the unified grid is because it's coming, you know, it in other words, coming into our perception. It's going to come into our reality, this unified field. And bearing in mind, it's been there all the time. It's just that we've never seen it. We've never seen it as a typical everyday life experience for everybody on Earth. So the fact that I'm getting the information now to focus on the unified grid, I'm sharing this because I know with all my heart there'll be people out there that will get shown the unified grid in whatever way that is for you. You're going to get shown it, and you might be wondering why. And it's because what happens is we create our reality, as you all know. So by our focus on the unified grid, we're drawing that unified grid into us, which then changes our perception, and we see it in the outer reality. And then again, this goes back to what I've said previously, is when a few people do that, then it's like an energetic switch on, which means more people see and more people see and more people see. I feel this, the fact that we're being guided to work energetically with the unified grid now is because it's the next stage. Meaning I know everybody's at different stages, but we're actually drawing in and into the physical realm, if you like, into this physical plane of existence. We're drawing in to our higher perception for everybody. And so it's only being ramped up now in terms of being shown it 4 times in 2 days. and then being told to focus on the lighted design, because it's time to spend our focus and spend our energy work on making that a reality for everybody. If that makes sense. I'm sorry if it sounds confusing, but I'm really excited about it because this is a lighted design. I've been shown many different lighted designs. It's a huge part of my path, to be honest, that I don't really talk about. But this hexagonal unified grid has always been there. It's always been overlaying and weaving through everything. It's that grid that connects everything and everyone to everything and everyone, and it's what humanity doesn't see. So I hope you can feel my excitement and my joy, because imagine a world where everybody realizes that every thought they have affects something else, where every word they speak affects everything else, where every action they take affects everything else, including themselves in the next timeline. Imagine a world where everybody knows that. You see, it's because people don't see that they don't care, they don't mind that there's a separation here and a separation there. They're just on one side of the fence. If everybody saw and realized, truly realized, that everyone affects everyone and everything all the time, the world would live in peace and the world would live in harmony. And that is where we're headed on this train to what we call the higher plane of experience. People call it 5D, New Earth, whatever. But it is an existence within unity. And people talk about unity a lot, but we haven't brought it in. We know about it. We can conceptualize it. We can agree with unity, but it actually isn't energetically, it hasn't actually been brought in, anchored in, for everybody to then experience and know as a way of life, as easy as seeing the sunrise every day, quite literally. It will just be accepted, and then the world will know peace, and the world will be unified in harmony and love. And that's what fills my heart to overflowing and keeps us going on this path, even if, we have these experiences when it can get quite difficult. Trust your path. Believe in your path. It's tailor-made for you. Just you. You have all the clues given to you, and they're there every day. And if you can't at sometimes see them, it's usually because you're just in the personality mode. If you just come back to your heart and take a moment out and just breathe, you'll be filled with love within your heart, and you'll have an entirely different perception of your world in front of you from this space of love. And from there, make your decisions, make your choices, what is highest for you. Sending you so much love, and I hope in some way something that I've said has helped at least one of you. And if it hasn't, if this doesn't resonate, then please just leave it. I don't share to convince anybody. I just share as I'm given, in the hope that it always helps at least one person. Okay, God bless, take care, and sending you so much love. Bye-bye.